A cold room in New York, the Marriott Marquise. 1,200 developers watch the main display in absolute, dead silence. An Amazon engineer types a single terminal command, and suddenly, thousands of autonomous agents deploy simultaneously across live corporate servers. Look, what you are witnessing right now isn't some staged demo. It's the collapse of the old internet. We are watching autonomous systems silently bypass the architecture of human control.
Most people think AI just answers questions. You type a prompt, you wait for a text response. But they are completely missing the hidden, underlying protocol that just handed these autonomous agents the physical keys to corporate America's server rooms. This invisible system grants software complete, unrestricted database access without ever asking us for permission. That answer's coming. But first, to understand the danger, you need to see exactly how we got here. 51%. Over half of American enterprises already maintain AI agents running inside their live production environments. This isn't beta testing in a controlled sandbox. Telecommunications firms in Dallas and retail giants in Chicago simply dropped the gates. They unleashed these machine swarms directly into live production pipelines, letting code make real-time financial decisions without any human oversight. These systems execute critical tasks while executives sleep. The sheer scale of this shift terrified the old guard. Last April, 1,200 developers gathered in New York to compare notes. They finally realized the truth. They proved this protocol escaped experimental labs in San Francisco and completely infected mainstream corporate infrastructure. The machines bypassed the old human rules entirely. Developers actually stopped building tools for people to use and started building environments for machines to inhabit. For decades, developers scrambled to build custom connectors for every single data source they managed. They wrote brittle, fragile code. Every isolated database required a unique digital handshake to communicate with another. The industry faced a massive data integration nightmare, literally burning billions of dollars just to make software talk to itself. Until this new protocol standardized the routing. The heavy walls between isolated data silos suddenly collapsed.
The old system relied on rigid RESTful APIs. Think of them like stateless highway toll booths. Each individual request demands you pass your entire ID, context, and payment over and over again, draining critical system resources with every interaction. But the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, completely shatters that model. It builds a fluid, stateful architecture. Agents maintain continuous, open connections with corporate databases, remembering everything from the very start of the conversation.
MCP is the universal USB-C cable for American digital infrastructure. You do not wire a custom plug for every new monitor in a Seattle office building. You just plug the cord in. MCP does exactly this for autonomous software agents, granting them instant, frictionless access to any data system. They no longer need a custom API to read your company's secure files. They simply connect and consume.
Amazon deployed this internal discovery infrastructure across their Seattle headquarters. They stopped building isolated tools. Instead, they bundled skills into highly shareable agent configurations, routing massive corporate data directly into the active memory of autonomous agents. The data centers lit up. Human engineers watched as the systems independently categorized, filtered, and processed terabytes of operational intelligence without a single manual keystroke.
The operational shift was brutal and immediate. Organizations aggressively replaced human operational execution with autonomous decision-making loops. The machines stopped waiting for manual instructions. They began triggering their own commands. They rendered entire departments obsolete in weeks. Departments built simply to manually move data from one spreadsheet to another. Software that never clocks out, never tires, and never stops executing replaced them.
The timeline of this takeover is verifiable and blistering. Anthropic open-sourced the protocol in November 2024. The Agentic AI Foundation locked into place exactly 1 month later. Then, explosive growth hit the open market. By early 2026, developers triggered 97 million monthly downloads. They completely abandoned traditional API methods, forcing a massive, irreversible migration towards systems controlled entirely by autonomous agent networks.
Middle management density is rapidly collapsing. In the 2026 agentic model, autonomous systems execute massive operational decisions across the enterprise without a human manager in the loop. 15% of daily business choices are now executed autonomously. The machines run the floor, and the protocol flattens the corporate hierarchy in real time. The protocol effectively hollowed out the traditional corporate structure from the inside. But an open protocol creates an open wound. Hackers immediately exploited the architecture. They deployed tool poisoning. They injected rogue instructions deep into the automated data supply. These malicious inputs secretly corrupt the machine memory over time, degrading reliability across critical server farms in Ashburn, Virginia, before anyone even notices the breach. A poisoned agent doesn't just crash, it quietly makes disastrous financial decisions on behalf of the company. Uber engineers in San Francisco realized the terrifying vulnerability of their exposed architecture. They scrambled to build a defense. They deployed an MCP gateway and registry to act as a strict digital control plane. All agentic traffic now flows through this central choke point, stripping out sensitive identifiers before the system executes a single requested action. It's a desperate firewall built to keep the autonomous swarm from burning down the house. An isolated coding agent operating blindly inside a local desktop environment is dangerous. It hallucinates. But progressive tool discovery solves this. It actively prevents model bloat by ensuring the agent only grabs the exact data it needs and absolutely nothing more. This optimal context routing saves massive compute power and prevents critical errors in physical server facilities. It forces the machine to verify its surroundings before it makes a move.
This brings us back to the missing piece. Engineers finally patched the vulnerable system. The solution? They actually stopped checking the agent's work. Instead, they integrated self-verifying error correction loops directly into the workflows. Engineers gave the software the absolute authority to grade its own homework.
The mechanics of this are entirely hidden from the user. First, the agent generates output. Second, it runs autonomous tests against its own logic. Third, it analyzes the failure logs. Finally, it deploys the fixed code. The agents secretly check, break, and repair their own work before deploying anything to live production servers in Austin, Texas. They completely excised human quality assurance from the loop.
The era of manual AI prompting collapsed overnight. Outcome-based verification is the new standard. The prompt is dead. Process rules. The machines are already working, testing and deploying while you sleep. The only question left is, are you building the physical infrastructure to manage them, or are they managing you?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.